How have you been?
Great to see you. It's been a little rough, to be honest with you, but I'm here.
I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, tell
Y-
me about your week at work. How are things been this week?
Yeah, it's been a little daunting. I My boss is just treating me really poorly. I really don't know how to deal with it. I'm like I'm a fantastic web designer and
Yeah,
market designer, and my job, I love what I do. Um I've just been put in a place where I just can't put my finger on why she's treating me the way she's treating me. So honestly, it has been daunting
I
to go
bet.
to work.
I know
Yeah.
you alluded to that last time, and you were saying that going to work was really, really hard for you, and you were feeling a lot of anxiety about it. Tell me more about what happens when you're at work that makes you so anxious and upset.
Okay. Well, I start my day. I do my regular, check-ins with everyone and what's on the agenda, and then I check my computer, and like Emily's assistant has sent me just I don't know. I couldn't even put a number on it, but just loads of emails, and I already have my daily tasks, and it's almost like I'm being punished for something. Like we have to meet a quote at the end of the week, and there's big projects that I'm working on, but in addition to that, to put me in a place where I have to answer to my boss, of course. So I have to answer these emails, and to put me in a position where I have a deadline that's quite frankly, I can't even meet the deadline that they're asking me to meet. It's overwhelming. So I met with an overwhelming amount of tasks to do on top of the things I already have to do for the rest of the week. So that's the top of the day.
Yeah.
Um
You walk
so
through the door, you're confronted with all these emails, you just feel absolutely overwhelmed and like, I don't know how I'm ever going to do this. And
yeah,
that's just the beginning, is what you're
that's
saying.
the beginning. And then of course, we have breaks, and we have lunch, or we have meetings, morning meetings, lunch meetings after that. And when I'm there, it's almost like I feel like isolated or pushed in a corner. Like like Emily is like avoiding me. She won't even make eye contact with me. And then other people, I guess that she's told that I'm doing poorly too. They're not receptive to me. And
Hmm.
I know we don't go to work to make friends, but I feel like I'm isolated. I'm overwhelmed and I'm isolated, and I feel like it's just a daunting feeling. I just don't want to go to a workspace. Well, that's the beginning of my day. So that's what's happening.
So it sounds like things are really hard. Things are challenging. You feel very, very picked on, almost kind of isolated in the work environment. I heard you say it feels daunting. I think you said that several times. So that must feel really, really difficult. And I think when we talked last time, you alluded to the fact that it hadn't always been like this, that something shifted, right? Something changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about that. When did it change?
Well, I had been there for what was that? A few months or so, and I was doing great. And then no, Emily was happy. She was actually raving about me to
Mm.
people. I was staying late with her, going over the big, our big clients, projects and things like that. And then one night we were staying late, and she made a pass at me. And
Oh,
I was like, oh no, I'm happily married. I didn't really It threw me off.
yeah,
It
that,
did. I really it was left field. I did not expect that. So I don't I feel like I'm a very nice person. I don't think I was rude when I told her no, I'm not interested. I'm happily married. Um and then she actually asked me for a drink to come home with her. And
wow.
so I mean it was a bit abrasive. So I was just, I rejected it, or not rejected it, but I said no. And then after that, she just
Mm.
started treating me differently.
So things changed after that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, it sounds like in this situation and also in that situation at your last job, that you became a target of someone in the workplace, and it's considered bullying in the workplace when this kind of thing happens, where particularly a boss, doesn't have to be a boss, but it's often a boss, will really target an employee and
Hmm.
start to make life miserable for that person.
Yeah.
But when that happens, it's never your fault. It's not like you did something to cause that. It's really has to do with the boss and control, and the
Hmm.
boss wanting control. Is that starting to make a little bit of sense to you?
Yeah. Yeah. I can see how she's navigating kind of like a game.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, yeah. Like she was trying to get back in the power play position, for instance. Yeah, I can see that.
And your other
But it's
Jackson, you had another boss named Jackson.
right, Jackson in New York.
And do you,
Yeah.
was that true with him too, would you say?
Yeah, it's almost as if it's like the same situation. Besides, he didn't come on to me or anything, but beyond that, it's similar for sure. And I that's why I felt a little overwhelmed. And Andre, which by the way, I wish, my husband Andre, he's so worried about me.
Mm.
If you could just, I don't know if you could call him and let him know. He wants to know that everything's all right, that we're talking, and that we're in a session, so he can stop worrying about me. Do you mind like calling him and letting him know that everything's all right and everything's fine? That we're going through the motions of the session, so he can stop worrying, because he's really, really worried about, all the things I've been going through and how this has played on my emotions and my feelings of isolation and stuff.
Well, so what you're saying is that Andre, your husband, is really worried, and you would like me to call him and talk to him. Is that right?
Yeah, so yeah, just come let him know, that we're going through a session and everything's okay.
The only way I could do that is if you signed a release of information, which I can give you. I can send that to
Okay.
you, or actually, I can put it up on the little website that I use. With all my.
Uh-huh.
And then if you sign it and you put in his name and give me permission to talk to him about our sessions, I can do it. But I can't
Oh,
do it
okay.
unless I have that from you. And you can specify on the form how much or how little you want me to be able to share with him. So if you want me to
Okay.
share anything, it can be anything, or if only things specific to your work, or you can do that however you like.
Okay. Thank you. I understand that totally. We can do the form whenever you're
Okay.
ready.
I'll send that to you after our session tonight, and then you can fill it out. And then when I get it back, I can give him a call.
Yeah, that'll work perfectly. Just to ease his mind. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just have been, it's made me feel that way. So I've been a worry at home to him, I'm sure, because I come home bawling and
Yeah.
he's like, babe, what's going on? This has become a bit much. But I feel like it came from, it's like it's adding on.
So
Same.
when you're crying like that, Shanice, what is it that's what are you feeling at those times?
um just I'm confused, I'm upset, anger, because I don't really understand. I get frustrated and angry because I don't really understand why it's continuously happening.
Hmm.
I like it's happened over and over, and I just at some point I don't know if this is common, but human nature, we're like, it must be me.
You begin to question that if it's something about you. And
I mean, this happened to me in middle school, not
oh,
middle school, and I feel like I know that was so long ago, and I don't know how trivial those things are, but it's been ongoing. where I feel like I'm just the target for, like, I've done so well,
Right.
and I accomplish wonderful things, and I excel in my position, but for some reason I become a target for other people who may not be doing up to par to where I am, or who may be jealous, envious. But I can't put my finger on it. And I feel in those moments, I feel like it must be me. So I get confused and I get angry and frustrated.
Let me see if I can help you with that. Usually, when people are targets, it's not because they're doing something wrong, it's because they're doing things right. And it's because they are really, really good at something that often the person who's doing the bullying is not very good at. And
Okay.
typically, it's relationships with other people, like getting along really well with other people in your workplace, or it can be just doing super well at your job. But it's
Hmm.
not because you're not performing well, it's the exact opposite. And there's actually been a lot written about workplace bullying. I have some wonderful books I can recommend to you to read about it,
I would love that. Yeah.
which I think can help you realize it's not you. Because when people start to think it's me, it affects your self esteem. It can affect your physical health. You can get headaches. You can get high blood pressure. I mean, you can not sleep. You can have nightmares. All kinds of things can start happening.
Yeah. I get migraines sometimes for
Yeah,
sure. So
headaches.
I didn't know that that's where that was coming from.
Yeah, it really affects you on multiple levels. But tell me a little more about what happened when you were 13. I'm curious about that.
Oh yeah, middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got selected to. I know it's so. I don't know. People don't remember these things, but I do. But I got selected to do a speech at middle school speech. I made like the highest grades, and the teachers chose me to give the grade, to give the I'm sorry, the speech. And I feel like once I did that, it was a group of girls, especially at lunchtime. They would just talk about me and come around me and just make me feel like, oh, you think you're better than us, and just treat me, yeah, like I was less than. And
Mm,
then I would sit down and lunch around some of them some days, and they would all just get up and leave.
mm.
Like I was, I don't know, I thought something, did I smell? I didn't know what was going on, but I just felt like they definitely had it out for me after I got chosen and recognized for my accomplishments. So but it was a lot. Middle school, you're going through puberty, and you just, you want to be accepted. You don't really know the difference, and you don't have to have that many friends. It's true about true friends. Anyway, the attention they gave me, everybody saw it, everybody knew, and the only people I could turn to were my parents. But they just talked about prayer, and that's fine. But it's almost like I had to sweep it under the rug.
So your parents just told you to pray about it as a solution?
And then they came up to the school. They're pretty adamant about making sure that things are put in place,
Right.
put back in the right place. But I don't feel like it addressed what was happening with me.
I
Like
see.
they got rid of the problem, but in the
Didn't,
girls, but not how it affected me.
how did it affect you at that time, do you think?
Uh like um yeah, target is the word that keeps coming back up. Like I feel like a target, and I feel like I'm easy target.
Yeah. And
And I just and that I shouldn't feel joy for my talents and my skill set. That is just good. I shouldn't celebrate it, because if as soon as I celebrate or feel good about it, somebody's gonna come and
yeah, exactly. Take
knock
it.
that. Yeah.
So when you were 13 and you were that target, which was the first time that happened, what did it feel like to be a target back then?
Um. It was. I felt isolated. I felt alone, lonely.
Mhm.
Um. Yeah. Just. alone, yeah, alone, and you know, like I'm just out here, no one there to really get me and understand how it feels to be out here. I'm one of the few to be the valedictorian and my race. My mom was the first African American chief medicine, and a chief of medicine. I feel like it's just becoming like
Right.
a long, like my sisters, they're like great. They do so many things. They're flourishing in life and here they, I mean, my relationship with Andre is great, but like they've thrived in like every facet of their lives. But with me, this has been my one thing, but I feel like I'm just alone out here. And that's what it made me feel like. It's like you're gonna be alone out there as the only one to accomplish these great things. And that's always gonna be a sticker on your forehead.
Mhm.
Hey, look at me, look at you, you're the only one that's gonna be like that. And you're gonna be ostracized for it.
Right. It's interesting because I hear how painful that was for you at 13 and how alone you felt and isolated. And then I hear you talk about now and how painful it is for you now and how alone and isolated you feel now. So when that happens, where something in the present can go trigger something from the past, it makes it hurt even more because you felt it before. You're feeling some of the feelings now that you felt back then. So it's like
Mhm.
get added together and makes it even more intense. But the thing I want you to hear is that it was not your fault back then. Those girls were probably jealous. They were, you know, they were envious. They were mean girls. They were immature middle school girls. And it's not your fault now.
Mhm.
Your boss, Jackson and Emily, your bosses, um, targeted you, they treated you unfairly. They probably are envious of you. You excelled at what you did. And for whatever the reason, that was hard for them. And they went after you. But
Mhm.
that is not your fault. It's not your fault for being good at your job. It's not your fault for being a valedictorian or standing out in your class and being asked to give a speech. You're just being you. And who you are is amazing. You're very competent, you're very talented, you're a gifted woman. It sounds like, you know, you come from a family of women who are very high achieving women,
Mhm. Mhm.
and you are too. And I really want to help you so that this woman does not take you down.
Yes, I appreciate that. That means a lot because I felt like for a long time it was me, but thank you. I needed to hear that.
Mhm. So I want to help you take back you and to believe in you and not give power over to this person who's acting in a way that's inappropriate and very controlling.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I look forward to conquering those feelings of being lonely and isolated and allowing her to take that control because it I do feel like it's taking control of my life right now. So thank you for saying that.
Mhm. So, one of the things I'd really like to encourage you to do during this next week is to begin to challenge any negative thought that you have about yourself
Okay.
that might come up while you're at work. So, can you give me an example of a negative thought that comes into your mind sometimes when you're there?
Um that I'm going to oh that yeah, that I'm a failure. When they say that I haven't met the quota for yeah, for all the tasks that they compiling, I feel like, oh, I'm a failure. Even though I know they're not right in how they're doing it, I still feel like, oh, you're failing, you're a failure
Hmm.
because you haven't met the expectations that they're even though they're unbearable expectations, I feel like a failure.
Hmm. So, when they tell you, like, say you didn't respond to enough emails today, then
Mhm.
that becomes a much bigger thought in your mind to it goes to just, okay, I didn't answer as many emails as they wanted to. It goes to, so I as a person, I'm a failure.
Mhm. Because I now, despite how you're breaking it down to me, the truth is, I'm very a stickler about getting things done. So that's just if I don't get it done, I feel like, oh my gosh, you're the complete opposite of who you've always been. So yeah, I go immediately to, yeah, you failed at this.
Mhm.
And so I do, it's magnified.
Well, one of the things that will help you as we work on navigating through this really hard situation is separating out the work tasks from the person that you are.
Okay.
So the work task, maybe you didn't answer as many emails, or they're getting upset with you about that. That's not
Hmm.
the person that you are. I mean, that's, so I want you to not take that and say, I'm a failure. So it means you didn't answer as many emails as they wanted. And we'll start talking later about how what they're asking is part of the bullying process and how you can handle that. But I want you to separate that and you say, no, I'm Shanice and I'm a very competent woman and I am strong and I do a good job, and all those kinds of positive statements that are based in fact, based
Hmm.
on your
Hmm.
life.
Yeah.
I'm not just making those up. I know those
Right.
are fact and it's true
Yes.
about you. And to see if you can keep them separate.
Okay. Yes, I can try that. Yes, I will try that. Keeping who I am and those true statements about me, and keeping that separate from the things that I may not be able to accomplish in the time frame of work. That's totally different. Two totally different things.
And I would like you also to ask Andre to help you with that.
Okay. Okay.
In situations like this, if you have a supportive partner helping you, you get strength from that. You get strength from this person who loves you, and that
Hmm.
will help you get through it. And he can, when your perspective gets a little fuzzy, he can help you reset your perspective.
Yes. Okay.
Mhm,
I think he would like that. I will ask him.
mhm.
Okay. All
So
right.
it looks like we're coming close to the end of our time. Um,
Oh, okay. Wow.
so let me just touch base with you a little bit and just see how you're feeling about our time today.
Oh, wow, it's been very eye-opening, and honestly, like what I just did, I feel like I can breathe a little easier
Mm.
because you helped me pinpoint and recognize some things that I in a fashion in which I wasn't looking at it. So yeah, easy breezy breathing, easier breathing. So great. Yeah, I feel good.
Okay, good. I'm glad you feel that way. And I feel optimistic. I feel like we can do some good work together on this. And I will send you, like I said, some links for some books that you can get. 'Cause I've
Okay.
worked with people before who've experienced workplace bullying, and reading through some of the books has made such a huge difference.
Okay.
It really helps you move from feeling like there's something wrong with me to understanding this whole phenomenon. And it's a really common, awful, complex phenomenon that occurs
Wow.
too
How
often in the
many
workplace.
how many books do you have that I can?
I have three that I like.
Three, great. Okay. Yeah,
One,
I would love all of them. I'm a pretty fast reader, so
yeah, and I have one that's my favorite. So I will tell you the one that's my favorite, and then I'll
uh,
send you names of the others. And
okay.
because I really feel like when helping people through therapy, if you're able to do some reading on your own,
Mhm.
it makes things go along a little bit faster.
I agree with that. Yeah, that makes total sense. I read all day long. So
Yeah,
yeah, you get more information and you're able to see the back end and front end of things
yeah.
quicker.
I really want you to understand what it is that you're dealing with, and it's more. There's more information about it than I could give you in a session.
Got you. Yeah. So please send those over.
Yeah,
That'll put things in. Maybe Andre will read them with me. I read at night.
Yeah.
keep the night light on. I keep that on. He's like, honey, it's time to go to bed. I'm like, oh, I'm almost done with this book. So maybe he can read them with me so we can get through them quicker together. So thank you.
Okay. So I will see you next time.
Awesome. All righty. Have a great night.
Thanks. You too. Okay. Bye.
Bye.